As you will see and hear, the talent of these musicians, along with practice and training, is the foundation that allows them to build their careers and follow their passion. We want to foster that passion in young people. Build confidence through practice and training is a pathway to success. The magic of music can transform our lives. The Magic of Music is a multifaceted project focusing on small ensembles engaging with different segments of our community. We started this ambitious project with live chamber ensembles, performing for small socially distant students in schools and after-school activities. The programs demonstrate how elements of teamwork, dialogue, individual responsibility, and cooperation translate music to creative problem solving, which in turn can open the doors and windows of opportunity in our lives. During the first year, 3 different ensembles performed for 4 different groups of students over a 3-week period. Most of the participating students saw 3 different groups: a brass quintet with drums, a trio of violin, bassoon, and oboe, and a violin and marimba duet. We are about to share with you comments from the musicians who played in the duet and the trio. Enjoy.
This combination, marimba and violin combination, is very rare. There aren't too many pieces out there that's for marimba and violin. But when I saw that a lot of performers actually played this piece, History of Tango, with violin and marimba combination, that's when I thought, you know, this is something that I should definitely do with Mike. You know, Mike is my colleague in Stockton Symphony. So I immediately thought, this is something that we should get together and prepare for school shows.
A lot of times, when I tell people I play the marimba, they'll say, "Whoa, what's a marimba?" And I kind of have to say, "Well, it's like a really big xylophone," because most people know what a xylophone is, and when they think of a xylophone, they think of the little tiny ones that they had as a kid with just the single mallet that's got a string attached to it, so you don't lose it, right? But certainly this is a different beast, and takes a lot of training.
It is very different, playing with other string instruments, and in this case, marimba is a percussive instrument, although it's a very harmonic instrument with a timbre and a lot of reverb. It was actually really nice to work with a percussion instrument. The articulation is almost built in, and a good percussionist like Mike, he can do so much with different colors using different mallets, and it was really nice to actually hear that difference. Always there being good articulation. Percussionists are impeccable in their rhythm and keeping up the tempo, so that's a plus. I really loved working with Mike.
Anytime you play with another musician, there's always give and take, right? We each have our own way that we practice individually, and that's influenced by, maybe recordings that we've listened to or the tempos that are marked on the piece. But once you get with another person, right, you need to be flexible because we each have our own dance that we want to do, right? And we're trying to kind of pull each other a little bit. So her role is really the melody a lot of the time. So in some instances, because I have the underlying rhythm, I'm free to push and pull her, and she can kind of float over the top and doesn't need to be as precise with me. So, we're definitely listening back and forth to each other, and other times she leads when she really wants to get that like appassionato section and, you know, really make it intense, and then I'm like, whoa, okay, she's going, I gotta keep up with her. So the general role of a percussionist in an orchestra would be the timekeeper. So very much I fulfill that role. But in a duo setting, you know, there's a lot more freedom. It's easier to move 2 people than it is to move 60. So, you know, if I'm not exactly where she expects, it's okay, and we can adjust very quickly because it's just the 2 of us. So that gives a lot more freedom and I think a lot more passion. Volume is kind of a secondary byproduct, right? And there's a lot of things that we can do, such as the speed that we bring it down or the amount of weight in my arm that I want to use, all helps to influence the sound. The mallet has a hard rubber core on the inside, and then there are varied thicknesses of yarn that are wrapped on the outside. So if you have a thicker mallet, you need a harder stroke to get the core or the articulation to sound. And then if you hit it very gently, it creates a nice warm tone with a lot of sustain.
A world without music, I think it would be a darn shame. I see music as a way to model and to experiment and to play with the best ways that people ought to be with each other and the way we ought to be for each other. There are plenty of ways to do that, but for me, music is the sandbox that I've chosen.
When you get older, you get serious about an instrument, there's a lot of work involved. I mean, it's a focus and a discipline, and you do have to sit down and spend time alone with it and maybe not do other things because you're actually really wanting to get better at the instrument. But there is a certain age when that's not a part of the equation, when it's just, oh, look at that, I want to do that. And that's where the spark is born. And that's the spark that will carry you through all those years of the work, you know, when it becomes more focused. So it is really fun to see that and be around that sort of innocence and joy and love of it.